Hey guys, so now that it's getting cold out, one of the things that I like to make is like a nice pot of soup, something that I can just, you could take it to work, you can eat it for dinner with a sandwich, like some grilled cheese, or you can eat it, honestly, I even eat soup for breakfast. I don't care. I'm not a person that sticks to traditional foods for breakfast. I'll eat anything. So, and I a couple months ago got a bunch of these on the clearance rack at the local grocery store, and it's potato leek soup. They were $6.99, and I got them for a dollar something, I forget. But it's organic soup, and it comes in these Tetra packs, so it's shelf stable, and it's good stuff to have in your cabinet for just to have, because you never know. If you won't be able to get out in the store, especially when you live in an area where there's snow and cold winters, it's always good to have things like this in your cabinet. But I also use them as a starting point for soups sometimes. So to this, I can put this in there and I can add water to thin it out a little bit and then just make a soup, with carrots. I have some broccoli rabe that I'm going to chop up and put in there. I have a piece of a zucchini, some onion, and then something else that I like to add to soup is nutritional yeast. This has protein, tons of vitamins, and it gives it a really nice depth of flavor. If you've never used this, it's something to consider or look into. Vegan people use it a lot. And you could put it in soups, you can put it in dressings, you can put it in pasta, you can make sauces with it. Good stuff. You can put it in your eggs to give your eggs like a cheesy flavor without using cheese. So if you're trying to cut back on cholesterol or you want to use egg whites and the nutritional yeast, it's just a really good option. I always have it in the cabinet, and I'm going to use some garlic and thyme, and I'm just going to make a soup. I don't have a recipe. I'm kind of just winging it, which is something that I often do in the kitchen, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to get a big soup pot just like this, and I'm going to put some olive oil at the bottom because I want to saute some onions, about a tablespoon, and I'm just going to put the pot on and let it heat up while I chop up the onions and the vegetables. You can use any vegetables that you have. If I didn't have zucchini, I would be using frozen broccoli from the freezer or frozen peas and carrots. It's really whatever you have on hand, you can use to make a soup. All right, that's all chopped up. Okay, so I had the oil heating up while I chopped all the vegetables. It's nice and hot now, so I'm going to start by putting the onions in. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of salt so the onion can start releasing its water. Now I'm going to add the carrot. We want to get that cooked and a little bit softened up. I'm going to add the zucchini and let that cook up and get softened up. And I'm going to season it once I put the vegetables in, give it a stir, and I'm just going to let it sit there and cook a little bit to get a little soft before I start adding the rest of the ingredients. I crushed up some cloves of garlic. I'm going to put that in there. And then I'm going to add some fresh cracked black pepper. add some thyme. Again, I don't have a recipe, I'm not measuring, but if I had to guess, that was probably about 3/4 of a tablespoon of thyme. Okay, I'm gonna chop up the broccoli rabe, and if you're not familiar with broccoli rabe, it has a bitter taste, so if that is not something that you like, then I would recommend not putting this in your soup because it'll definitely stand out in the soup. I love broccoli rabe just boiled with olive oil and vinegar with some boiled potatoes. That's my favorite way to eat it. But I'm putting it in the soup just because I have it in the fridge and I need to use it up. But again, it has a bitter taste, so if you don't like that, then do not put broccoli rabe in your soup. But I love broccoli rabe, and it's mixed in with the zucchini and the carrots, and I'm going to put some pasta in there. So for us, this is fine. And my husband likes it too. Actually, he said he never had it until he met me, so, and now he likes it, so. And now I'm going to pour in the Tetra Pak of potato soup. And this is pretty thick stuff, as you can see. It's almost like a potato puree, like a really loose, liquidy mashed potato. So once I put this in, I realized how thick it was. So I'm going to go downstairs and get myself a Tetra Pak of beef broth. If I had chicken broth, I'd be using chicken broth, but beef broth is what I had that I got off the clearance rack. These were $1, so I'm going to pour one of those in there to loosen it up, and that's it. And that's it. I'm not going to need any more liquid after that. It's the perfect consistency. I like my soup fairly thick, so to me, this is perfect. So I'm just going to give this a nice stir, get the potato puree mixed in with the broth. I'm going to cover it, put it on low, and I'm going to let it simmer for half an hour. It's been half an hour. I'm going to give it a taste, see what it needs.
Look, Mom. Want one, Dad? Want one, Mom? Mom?
It definitely needs something, but I don't want to put more salt. So I think I'm going to use some of this Knorr. Here we go. Chicken flavor bouillon. This has salt, it has garlic, it has a bunch of other stuff in it. And it says, I'm going to do a tablespoon. And I'm going to give that a stir. If you look at the back of the package, it says to do 1 teaspoon per cup of boiling water to make like a chicken broth. I'm not going to use that much at all. I just used 1 tablespoon for this entire pot, and that's going to be enough to give this the flavor that I'm looking for and the additional sodium. So let me give this another try. That's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to cover this and I'm going to let it simmer for half an hour. But yeah, if you look at the back here, it says 1 teaspoon and it makes like a chicken broth, and you can use it for rice and sauces and stews and vegetables, pasta. So good stuff. But it does have a lot of sodium, so you have to just be careful how much you're using. And then after I let that simmer, I'm going to put some of this. I bought this pasta at the local produce market by my house. I had never seen this before. It's like a little bag with like a bunch of different pastas mixed in, like little elbows and little like chicken noodles and little curly pastas. So I'm going to put some of this in there. Now, you can add meatballs to this if you want. You can add some tortellini if you want to this. These are things I have in the freezer, so this is why it's coming to mind, because soup is really customizable. It is what you want it to be, and it's super forgiving. Just keep tasting. If you need more seasoning, you add more seasoning. If it's too thick, you add some more broth or add some water and then season a little more. I like my soup fairly thick, and I'm not going to put tortellini in this one. I'm not going to put meatballs in here, but what I am going to put is some of this pasta mix that I got. So I'm going to put some of that in there now, and that is going to be, I just ripped the bag by accident. Okay, so I just ripped the bag by accident, so I'm just going to dump some in there and stir. All right, I think that's good for now. This little cute pasta. Okay. So I'm going to give this a stir, and I'm going to let this simmer for 8 more minutes, and then I'll check. And if I think I need more pasta, I can always add more. I love making soup because it's the easiest thing in the world to make. All right. If you have leftover Italian sausage, you can chop it up and put it in there. I'm going to let that simmer for 8 minutes, and then I'll check it again. 8 minutes, because that's the time the pasta takes. Okay, it's been 8 minutes. Ooh, foggy. Let me wipe the lens. There we go. Okay, that's it. The soup is done. The pasta's soft. Everything is incorporated. Let's serve up a nice bowl of vegetable pasta soup. I'm getting like a minestrone vibe, even though there's no beans in here, but it's a very, very hearty vegetable pasta soup. Tastes delicious. And that's it. Dinner is served. A nice bowl of hot soup for dinner on a cold night. I hope I inspired you to try to make some soup. Just use whatever you have in your fridge, in your cabinet. Soup is really one of the easiest things you could ever make. And it warms the soul, it warms the body, and the home smells delicious when you're simmering a nice big pot of soup. It's delicious and nutritious. And if you want to spruce it up a little bit, you can serve it with some breadsticks or some garlic bread or some nice artisan rolls for dipping, or even make yourself a grilled cheese. So many options. Thanks for watching.